Do you ever feel like this? You've clearly gotten some sleep, but you're still tired. There's so much to do, but you can't seem to muster the energy. Even though you didn't do much during the day, you're quickly drained. That feeling of exhaustion just won't go away. If any of this sounds familiar, it might be time to pay attention. Hey everyone, welcome to the Dark Psychology World channel. Feeling super tired is a common experience for many people these days. Our daily lives are filled with work, study, and entertainment, and it seems like the wave of tasks never ends, leaving us constantly tired. But is it physical or mental fatigue? Some people even go to the doctor but can't find anything wrong. Well, today, let's talk about why you're always tired, what could be causing it, and how to rest effectively. If you're new to this channel and you're interested in psychology and life knowledge, feel free to subscribe or become a member. If that sounds good, let's get started. Fatigue is a totally normal human response. It's also a crucial protective mechanism of the human body. From a medical standpoint, fatigue is the body's way of signaling that it's been overworked and needs to rest. It's like an automatic brake system that prevents us from pushing ourselves too far into the danger zone. There are generally three types of fatigue: physiological, psychological, and disease-related. Physiological fatigue happens when the body has been through intense or prolonged physical activity, like sports, walking, studying, or working, basically any activity that uses up our physical resources. Psychological fatigue, on the other hand, is the result of long-term mental and emotional strain. This can come from making decisions under pressure, managing emotions, or dealing with psychological trauma. Disease-related fatigue is the tiredness caused by certain health issues like viral infections, chronic diseases, cancer, or problems with the immune system. When your body is tired, you can recover by sleeping. Psychological fatigue can be eased through relaxation techniques, and disease-related fatigue can be improved with medical treatment. But we found that some feelings of fatigue aren't so straightforward. They seem to be a mix of different factors, and it can take a while to figure out the real cause of the fatigue. So, what's the deal? We often search for the reasons why we're tired, but we rarely consider where our energy comes from. Our bodies are made up of cells, and when each cell functions, our bodies can operate normally, whether it's thinking, walking, or just living. But cells need energy to work, and food is the key to producing this energy. However, it's not as simple as more food equals more energy. Here's the thing, almost all cells contain an energy factory called mitochondria. Each cell has between 100 and 1,000 of these mitochondria, which use glucose from food, the smaller molecule pyruvate that glucose breaks down into, and oxygen we breathe in to produce adenosine triphosphate, or ADP for short. This ADP is our body's energy source. Every time an ADP chemical bond breaks, energy is released, powering our thoughts, organ function, and bodily activities. The amount of ADP our bodies use daily is staggering, but we can't consume the same amount of food nutrients. After all, we can't eat all the time, right? So ADP needs a cycle. Think of ADP as a battery. It's made up of 3 phosphate groups and an adenosine molecule. When a phosphate group breaks off, energy is released and it becomes ADP. But the energy from ADP isn't enough, so it finds another phosphate group to become ADP again. This cycle of breaking and reforming ADP happens over and over, providing the energy our bodies need to function. This energy consumption and replenishment cycle happens incredibly quickly and frequently, especially during intense exercise. Each ADP molecule circulates about 1,000 to 1,500 times in the human body every day. When ADP can no longer synthesize, it cleaves a phosphate group on its own, releasing a small amount of energy and becoming AMP. To use up the last bit of energy, AMP breaks off the remaining phosphate group, releasing the final bit of energy and leaving behind adenosine. While adenosine doesn't provide energy, it's still an important substance in the body. The remaining adenosine binds to adenosine receptors, acting as a sedative and inhibiting neural activity, making people feel calm and relaxed. After a lot of energy is consumed, the remaining waste material signals the body to rest. It's fair to say that the human body's design is truly amazing. The activation of adenosine receptors slows neural activity and reduces nerve transmission speed, making us less excited and resulting in a feeling of drowsiness and a desire to rest. This is the main source of energy and fatigue in the human body and the process behind it. Everyone's reasons for feeling tired can vary, but there are some common, yet not so obvious, reasons that might be causing your constant fatigue. Firstly, overexertion. In this era of technological innovation and global network development, our lifestyles have drastically changed. In the past, a person would focus on just one job and students would concentrate solely on their studies. But now, that model seems outdated. The environment is constantly changing, and people need to learn and improve other skills even after work. Students often have to juggle part-time jobs while studying. Some people even have to handle multiple jobs at once. Our time and energy are constantly being consumed by these endless tasks, and before we know it, we're exhausted. So, it's important to check if you're overworking yourself. Additionally, as we age, we tend to feel more tired. This is because the mitochondria, our body's energy factory, also diminish with age. When our energy battery depletes, we easily lose energy and feel very tired. We'll discuss how to increase mitochondria later. Secondly, physiological sleep disorders. My roommate once mentioned something called revenge bedtime procrastination. Long working hours and stress mean that people often don't have time for themselves, which creates a rebellious mentality. At night, when we finally have some time to relax, we might pick up our phones and start scrolling. Before we know it, 2 hours have passed. Even though we're clearly very tired, we still don't want to sleep. Gradually, this develops into a habit of staying up late. Needless to say, staying up late and not getting enough sleep will make you very tired. In fact, the effects of staying up late go beyond just feeling tired. It's often mentioned in sleep videos that our bodies have a biological clock. This clock doesn't just regulate sleep, it also controls other physiological processes throughout the day, like body temperature, hormone secretion, and metabolism. When this clock is disrupted, our bodies don't know how to regulate these functions, which can lead to feelings of depression and anxiety. It's like our brains are free-falling, leaving us confused and exhausted all day. But don't think that sleep is just for resting. During sleep, our bodies go through 4 to 6 sleep cycles, and many bodily functions and repairs only happen during these cycles. This includes brain detoxification, preventing Alzheimer's disease, strengthening the immune system, reducing viral infections, accelerating wound healing and pathological hormone growth, promoting collagen production for a healthier complexion, and more. During sleep, our brains also process knowledge, emotions, and memories, helping us work smarter and more efficiently during the day. So, sleep isn't just about resting, it's a complex process that's crucial for our overall health. For a detailed analysis of sleep, you can check out our past videos. Thirdly, let's talk about coffee. Everyone thinks coffee wakes us up, but you might not know that the more coffee you drink, the more tired you're likely to feel. As mentioned earlier, after our energy is used up, the remaining adenosine binds to adenosine receptors, making us feel tired. Interestingly, caffeine and adenosine have very similar structures. When you drink coffee, the caffeine acts like adenosine and binds to adenosine receptors. However, caffeine doesn't have the same signaling effect as adenosine, it just takes its place without having any effect. This means it blocks adenosine from binding to receptors and sending fatigue signals. Adenosine binding to receptors also inhibits the secretion of dopamine, a substance that produces desire and excitement in people. When receptors bind to caffeine instead, dopamine isn't inhibited, which is why coffee has a stimulating effect. But if you keep drinking coffee, caffeine will occupy the adenosine receptors and the unabsorbed adenosine will continue to accumulate. Over time, your body might start to feel strange from having so much adenosine. It might even increase the number of adenosine receptors. Once the caffeine wears off, your body will have many extra adenosine receptors. A large amount of adenosine binding to these receptors can make people suddenly feel very, very tired. Next, let's talk about what you eat. Do you often feel sleepy and want to eat instead of going straight to sleep? Especially when it comes to eating refined, high-sugar foods like chocolate, candy, cake, milk, etc. Eating these sweets might give you an instant energy boost, but at the same time, your blood sugar also skyrockets. If you frequently eat these foods, your body's blood sugar will constantly be in a high state. This can lead to oxidative stress, increased glycation of proteins and fats, inflammation, and a series of adverse effects. Your body then has to release a lot of insulin to increase the absorption of glucose into cells and lower blood sugar levels. However, the higher the blood sugar spikes, the more it falls. After eating sweets, your body's blood sugar becomes lower than before. This rapid drop in blood sugar can make you crave food even more. So, what happens next? People start desperately looking for snacks to eat, causing their blood sugar to spike and then plummet. This disrupts the body's energy regulation mechanism, leading to an energy collapse. When this happens, the brain is in a state of energy deficiency, causing confusion and drowsiness. Fatigue lingers, and if you stay in this state for too long, hypoglycemia can lead to potentially serious health issues like drowsiness and impaired mental function. In general, it's best to eat less refined, high-sugar, and processed foods to avoid these energy crashes. Now, let's talk about the fifth factor, psychological exhaustion. People often think of fatigue as a physiological state, but in reality, there's a significant psychological component. The brain has a predictive function. When it thinks a task requires a lot of effort and the chances of success aren't clear, you'll start to feel tired. This stops us from wasting energy. For example, when you encounter something new and need to learn about it, your brain has to make many new neural connections, which consumes a lot of energy. But the brain isn't sure if this new thing will bring any good results. So, before it even starts using energy, you start to feel tired. Then, let's look at this from a psychological perspective, considering extroverts and introverts. For introverts, psychological energy comes from within. When an introvert attends several parties, they might not do any hard physical work or anything that causes physical fatigue, but they'll still feel mentally exhausted. It takes a long time alone to recover. On the other hand, extroverts get their psychological energy from the outside. If an extrovert is left alone for a long time, it will consume a lot of their energy. So, for introverts, everyone's reasons for fatigue can be different, but there are some common factors. For introverts, being alone can be a comfortable state, while for extroverts, it can consume a lot of energy. Psychological stress, anxiety, depression, and internal friction can also lead to a feeling of constant tiredness. To combat fatigue, we need to address these issues. If you've been experiencing fatigue for more than 6 consecutive months and can't regain your energy no matter how much you sleep, it might be time to seek help from a doctor. You could be experiencing symptoms of chronic fatigue syndrome. I recently watched a speech about the real reasons why we're tired and what to do about it. The speaker mentioned that sleep and rest are not the same thing. Sleep is just one of 7 ways to take a break. So, let me share with you 7 effective rest methods from my personal perspective. Step 1. Physiological rest. Sometimes we forget to rest and end up working for hours on end. Our bodies have a circadian rhythm, a daytime work and rest cycle. We have a productive time every 90 minutes, followed by a 20-minute interval. So, we can schedule a short 5 to 10-minute break every hour and a half. This can be more efficient than continuous work. You can get up, walk around, stretch, look far away, etc. Just avoid playing with your mobile phone to truly let your mind rest. I'll talk more about how cell phones can prevent you from resting in a future issue. Step 2. Creative breaks. This isn't about doing nothing, but about engaging with new and different scenery. It's an efficient way to rest. Go into nature, look at the sea and the mountains, visit an art museum, or even play games. This can evoke a sense of peace within us, help us appreciate the beauty of nature and the resonance of life, and achieve true relaxation. Not only will this give you a break, but it can also be a very effective source of inspiration for those who need to generate ideas. Step 3. Sensory rest. Our senses are constantly bombarded with various stimuli, like bright lights, phone notifications, and background noise. If possible, consider wearing earmuffs, putting your phone away, or moving to a quiet place to work. Or, try focused rest. Find a quiet place, sit in meditation or stillness, close your eyes, and focus on a single point, like your breath, heartbeat, or forehead. Just 5 to 15 minutes of immersion or meditation can give your senses a real break. You'll find that even the busiest CEOs make time for meditation. Step 4. Emotional rest. Fatigue isn't just physical, it's also emotional. Feelings, whether positive or negative, can be like an emotional roller coaster, affecting your heartbeat and blood pressure. Learn to calm down and let go. Calmness is a low-intensity emotion that doesn't make you negative. On the contrary, it allows you to complete things more efficiently. Many masters maintain a steady emotional state because they've mastered the art of rest. They face everything that comes their way using minimal energy. The first step to mastering this is learning to let go. Step 5. Social break. If your energy recovery comes from within, then what you need is some alone time. Don't be afraid to say no to social invitations or worry about being disconnected from society if you don't check social media. When you reject all ineffective social interactions, put your phone in airplane mode or turn it off completely. Listen to some music, cook, draw, find a solitary activity that recharges your batteries. You'll find that your heart can be at ease, your fatigue will be long gone, and you'll be fully charged before starting again. Step 6. Mobility rest. If you're feeling tired, it might be because your energy tank is inherently small, so you naturally get tired easily. At this point, the first thing you need to do is expand your energy capacity, that is, increase your mitochondria. An effective way to do this is through exercise and fitness. You might think this is a contradiction, you're already very tired, and exercise also consumes energy. But let me ask you, would you rather calculate how to use 100 yuan every day or just turn 100 yuan into 1000 yuan? Which one is more effective? Choose an exercise that works for you, whether it's aerobic exercise like running, swimming, walking, or strength training like push-ups. Step 7. Recreational break. Years of built-up stress can't be resolved with just sleep and rest. You need to strike a balance between work and play to efficiently kickstart your next work session. When the lines between work and play blur, that's not true rest. For instance, if you're super busy and work from Monday to Saturday, make sure to schedule some downtime during the week. During this break, you must completely disconnect from work and allow yourself to fully relax. If you're someone who has to work every day, then it's crucial to carve out time within each day for both work and leisure activities. This rest time is critical because it's during these breaks that you can pause, identify what's wrong, and make time for yourself. Only then will you have the chance to reevaluate yourself and avoid falling into an endless cycle of fatigue. If you have any experiences to share, feel free to leave a comment below. And don't rush off just yet. Here are 2 more videos you might like. Give them a watch, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button before you go. Share these fascinating insights with your friends and family and hit the subscribe bell for notifications on new videos. This is the Dark Psychology World channel. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.